Hey everyone, welcome back to Story Drop. I came across a story this week about one little voice message sent to the wrong person that quietly blew up a 30-year-old family's secret. And honestly, by the end of it, I was furious on this guy's behalf. So, let me tell you what happened. So, it goes like this. The guy telling the story is 34. I'm going to call him Ryan. Ryan's parents split when he was 5 years old, and the reason they split is not a small detail, so hold on to it. His dad cheated on his mom. The woman he cheated with is the woman he ended up marrying. Now, that woman already had a daughter of her own. Ryan's dad later adopted that daughter. So, picture the family tree here. Ryan has one biological sister. She's 36. I'll call her Megan. And then there's the stepsister, the adopted one. She's 38. I'll call her Crystal. Two real kids, one stepkid. Same house after the divorce shuffle. Remember that, because the whole story turns on it. Okay, so here's where it starts to sting. Ryan said that growing up, the favoritism was just obvious, not subtle, not in their heads. His stepmom and his stepsister would openly mock his actual mom right in front of him and Megan, and the two of them got treated differently in these little ways that, as kids, they couldn't really put into words, but they could feel it. Every day, and here's the kicker, his dad barely paid child support. Ryan's mom had to drag him to court more than once just to get the money she was legally owed for her own kids. Let me stop right here for a second because I want you to sit in that with me. This man left, started a brand new family, and then made his ex wife take him to court more than once just to feed the children he walked out on. That's not forgetting, that's a choice. He chose that over and over. Okay? Let me keep going because it gets worse and it gets more specific. Megan, the biological sister, she got the worst of it. Ryan literally called it the Cinderella treatment. And about 15 years ago, Megan just stopped. She cut her dad off completely, no contact, done. But Ryan didn't. Ryan kept the relationship alive. And the thing that got me is how he put it. He said he kept trying, and he doesn't even fully know why, he just did. And that right there, that's the whole heart of this story. One kid who walked away. One kid who kept knocking on a door that never really opened. Keep both of them in your head, because by the end, they both matter. Alright, so let me lay out the money side of this because this is where the two families really start to look like two completely different worlds. Let's start with the stepsister, Crystal. Crystal went to a pretty expensive private college, then she dropped out. After that, she had a wedding out in Vegas, and to be fair, both Ryan and Megan were invited to that one, and they actually went then. Crystal got divorced, then she got remarried, and this time for the second wedding, Ryan and Megan were not invited at all. And now, Crystal lives in this beautiful home with her husband and her two kids, right down the road from Ryan's dad and stepmom, walking distance, basically. So the family always assumed the dad was bankrolling all of this. The college, the weddings, the gorgeous house, they just never had it in writing. It was a strong hunch, but never a fact. Now, here's the other side of that ledger. Ryan and Megan, they paid for their own colleges, their own cars, their own homes. The only help they ever got came from their mom whenever she could scrape it together, which, remember, is the same mom who had to sue their dad just to get child support. Two kids building everything from nothing, one kid seemingly hinted everything, same father. Let that sit for a second. Okay, now, about 2 years ago, something strange happened, and I think this is the moment that makes the ending land so hard. One night, Ryan's dad texted him, and Ryan thinks the guy was probably drunk when he did it. The text asked, basically, how can I be a better father? Ryan's reaction was perfect, by the way. He said, quote, a little late, pal, and honestly, yeah. The man is in his 60s asking a 30-something-year-old how to father him. The window for that closed a long time ago. But here's the thing. This text caught Ryan completely off guard, because in all those years his dad had never once admitted to being anything less than an amazing father. Never. So this was the one crack of self-awareness in 30 years. So, Ryan, give him credit, he was honest. He told his dad the truth. He said he was jealous of the relationship his dad has with Crystal, the stepsister. And then nothing. The conversation just fizzled out. Zero follow up. No, tell me more. No, I'm sorry. No, let's fix this. The one time the door cracked open, the dad looked through it, heard the honest answer, and quietly shut it again. Okay, hold on. I have to react to this, because this is the part that tells you everything. He asked the question. Ryan gave him the real answer. The actual, vulnerable, here's how you hurt me answer. And the dad did nothing with it. Nothing. To me, that's almost worse than never asking at all. You don't get to ask how to be a better father and then ghost the answer. That's the part that got me. Alright, let me get back to the story because all of this back history is about to collide with the present. So let's come to right now, present day. Ryan is doing great, by the way. He and his fiancee just closed on their first home together, their first house, and they're in the middle of planning their wedding. Two of the biggest milestones a person hits in their whole life happening at the same time. And his dad, he hasn't offered help with either one. Not the house, not the wedding, nothing. And listen, Ryan's not even mad about that part. He said it straight up. He stopped expecting anything from his dad a long time ago. So, no help with the house, no help with the wedding, fine. He made his peace with that years ago. But here's what the dad did offer. He offered to buy them some groceries when he came out to visit. They live about 5.5 hours away now, so it's a bit of a drive. And the big gesture was, I'll stock your fridge. Now, Ryan, he's a good guy about it. He said he hates to sound ungrateful because, at the core, it's a nice thing to do. Free food is free food. He genuinely appreciated it. But knowing everything he suspected about how much his dad had poured into Crystal over the years, a grocery run felt a little hollow. Of course it did. A college, two weddings, a house for one daughter, and a bag of groceries for the son. But still, Ryan took it in good faith. He let it go. And that was the case right up until this week. This week is when the voice text landed. So here's what happened. Ryan's dad accidentally sent him a voice message, and it was very clearly meant for someone else. The dad just fat fingered it to the wrong contact. In the message, the dad is talking about a vacation. He's looking into an 11-day Viking cruise around Alaska, just him and his wife. But then, in the same message, he says he did the math, and he realized it would be cheaper to take Crystal, plus her husband, plus their two kids, all of them to Thailand instead. And the whole message is him bragging about how much money he was going to save and how fun the trip with his grandkids was going to be. Okay, I had to stop the audio. I had to actually stop and just stare at the wall for a second. Because do you understand what he just accidentally confessed to? This is a man who, the same week, offered his own son a bag of groceries, and on the other line, he's casually comparing an 11-day luxury cruise versus flying an entire other family to Thailand, like it's nothing, like it's just a fun little budgeting puzzle. Groceries for one kid, international vacations for the chosen one in the same week, and he only got caught because his thumb slipped. And here's what Ryan said that really got me, because he is so clear eyed about it. He said, I don't care about the money itself. I care about what it confirms. The man has had resources this entire time, the whole time, and he quietly funneled all of it toward the family he chose, while Ryan and Megan handled every single major life moment completely on their own. That's the gut punch. It was never that the dad couldn't help, it's that he could. He always could. He just decided again and again who was worth it. So now we're at the part where Ryan has to figure out what to do with all of this. And there are two more details that honestly are the icing on the cake, his words. First one, Ryan still needs to move the rest of his stuff out of his mom's house, which is in another state. And his dad actually offered to help. He offered to load everything into his truck and drive it out this weekend, and Ryan genuinely appreciated that. A real helpful gesture, finally. But there's a catch. The dad mentioned he needs to get back home early on Sunday. Why? because he has a Father's Day brunch with his other family. Let me say that back. A retired man who Ryan sees maybe twice a year can only spare a day and a half of his time because he has to rush home for brunch, a Father's Day brunch with the family he picked, while doing a favor for the son he didn't. I had to read that twice. And then the second thing, the thing underneath all of it. Brian said what he actually wants here is not money. He doesn't even want an apology for himself anymore. He's past that. What he wants is for his dad to apologize to Megan, his sister, and to his mom for how the two of them were treated all those years. The mom who got dragged to court, the sister who got the Cinderella treatment until she finally walked away. That's the part that broke me a little. After everything, after a lifetime of being the second choice, what this guy wants most isn't for himself. It's for his mom and his sister to finally hear, sorry. But in the same breath, he says it. He knows that apology is never coming. He knows his dad will never do it. And he said something about Megan that ties this whole thing in a bow. For 15 years, Megan has told Ryan that she's amazed he kept trying with their dad, amazed he kept showing up. And Ryan said now, finally, he understands exactly where she was coming from. That's the moment the younger sibling catches up to the older one. After all this time, he finally gets it. Okay, so let me come out of the story and just give you my honest take here. Because Ryan actually asked the internet what he should do, he's torn. Part of him wants to flat out ask his dad point blank, have you been funding Crystal's whole life this entire time? Another part of him already knows the answer and just wants to let the relationship quietly fade out. He even said it, he's in his 30s now and he doesn't think he has another chance left in him to give this man. So here's where I land, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think Ryan owes that man a dramatic confrontation. I really don't. Because a confrontation is for someone who might change. And this dad has shown you for 30 years exactly who he is. He got the rare second chance 2 years ago when he drunk texted asking how to be a better dad, and Ryan handed him the answer on a silver platter, and he did nothing. That was the test. He failed it. So, if it were me, I wouldn't scream, I wouldn't beg. I'd stop pouring into a cup that has a hole in the bottom. I'd let it fade, and I'd put all that energy into the people who actually showed up. His mom, his sister, his fiancé, the new home, the wedding, the family he's building that nobody had to be guilted into loving. But honestly, I keep going back and forth on whether he deserves to say one last thing out loud just for himself so it's not bottled up forever. So I want to hear from you. What would you do here? Would you confront him directly, get the truth on the record, even knowing it won't change a thing? Or would you just let it quietly fade and walk away clean? Tell me in the comments, because I genuinely don't know what I'd choose if it were my own dad. Thanks for hanging out with me on this one. Drop your take below. I read every single one, and let me know, was Ryan right to keep trying all those years, or did his sister have it figured out from the start? I'll see you in the next one.